Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first predictions video of 2021. We are so hyped for this year as we're kicking things off with 15, yes that's right, 15 pure matches of the LCS in their new format. And what's more, we've got a kickoff tournament called the Lock in, and oh boy, this is going to be insane, as this is technically our first interactions with the LCS, as we haven't even predicted their final positioning during the split. And yeah, I am ready and raring to go, the music is ready and raring to go, and without further ado, let us jump into our first set of predictions for 2021. So, without further ado, let us jump into our first prediction. This matchup is going to be a grueling one, as it is somewhat a rematch of a best of 5 from the playoffs last year. TSM versus 100 Thieves. Yes, that was deliberate, because let's just say 100 Thieves have pretty much all of the old FlyQuest squad, bar their top lane. And TSM look phenomenal in terms of their squad. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Obviously, both rosters, I would say, are completely different to how they were last year. Obviously, TSM losing Bjergsen and Doublelift, gaining Power of Evil, Lost, and Sword Art into their squad. It's a huge switch up, one of which could be a issue for them in comparison to the 100 Thieves squad, where the 4 main players on the squad and Someday have played together for over a season now. So it's going to be very intriguing to see how this goes. As for my prediction, I have gone with a TSM win. I've just got a feeling that for a first game performance, you're going to get the big boy win, and the underdog team just slightly being pinched to the spot. That being said, I could be wrong and TSM get absolutely smashed here by 100 Thieves, but that would be a very slim chance considering the talent lineup that TSM have. Our next matchup could turn into an Insta classic. It is CLG versus Team Liquid, and you're probably wondering, why am I saying that? Well, the squads these two teams are coming into this year with look absolutely fire. Team Liquid have replaced the top half of their map with Alphari and Santorin in the jungle, and CLG have basically just remade and remodeled their squad, only keeping POB and Smoothie in their lineup. The rest of the squad look absolute straight fire, with some returning partnerships with the likes of Wild Turtle and Smoothie playing together. Now, as for my prediction, I feel like this is going to be a close one, and going into this, I could have said, well, I think that this is going immediately over to Team Liquid. And I did, granted, go for Team Liquid here, but I felt this could be a wide open matchup. With the changes to the itemizations and how broken some champions are, we could see an upset here. Or can you even call it an upset? You've got a lot of experienced players on this lineup, and all of which have done well and made it to Worlds, so who knows. But yeah, I've gone with Team Liquid here. It could be an absolute banger of a matchup, and only time will tell as to whether or not that is the truth. Our third matchup this week is an absolute banger as well. It is C9 versus Evil Geniuses, and both teams have made some major changes to their rosters during the off-season. C9 have brought in the G2 bot laner into their mid lane, and they've also given Licorice the opportunity to leave and bring up their academy top laner. As for the Evil Geniuses, well, they have just scrambled the squad together from other places. Basically, they've got a new entire bot lane, bringing in the FlyQuest support, and definitely, along with Jizuke returning to the lineup and Impact joining from Team Liquid. These two squads look hella explosive, and there's going to be probably a huge emphasis on that top lane matchup between Fudge and Impact, as Impact is considered one of the best tankier top laners in the league, and Fudge is an up-and-coming star looking for Rookie of the Split as one of the few options for that title. Now, going into this game, I feel it's a very close matchup, but I have actually gone with Evil Geniuses picking up the first win in this tournament for themselves over C9, and I just feel that C9 could struggle if the top lane of Evil Geniuses goes Bruiser. Same with Svenskeren, going a bit more Bruiser, jungler, or even a carry if he wants to. And then it's going to be very hard for C9 to kind of counteract that. But this could be a very close matchup, as I say. And C9 could quite possibly take this one as well. But I have gone for the Evil Geniuses win. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our fourth matchup this week is an absolute belter as well. Dignitas taking on FlyQuest. Both teams have made some extraordinary changes to their roster this year. FlyQuest especially have lost quite a few of their core components, the likes of Wild Turtle and Santorin, their key carries, along with PoE going across to the TSM brand. Now, the rosters though have improved in my opinion, one of which being the inclusion of Jose Giotto to the jungle for Fly, and Dignitas being able to pick themselves up Saligo. Now, going into this matchup, we could see an absolute whitewash here, and that's sort of one thing that I was expecting when I predicted this, so I've gone with FlyQuest. Of course I did. FlyQuest are that squad that have so much strength. They're coming back this year off of a high of the World Championships, picking up some incredible wins, and now they're going to have to look to absolutely decimate the LCS once again. Our final matchup on day number 1 features the Golden Guardians coming into the LCS lock-in with a vengeance. They got dismantled by TSM in the last playoffs after their very famous win over the TSM brand in the first round of the tournament. But this year, they're looking to come back with some sort of fire. They've changed up their lineup considerably, bringing in a lot of academy talent and Stixay to this lineup to maybe get them through to a playoff semi-finals, if not better. Now, the other side of the field features CLG yet again for the second game of their group stages, and CLG, I feel, are going to absolutely decimate Golden Guardians in this matchup. I don't favour the academy players over these pretty big giant players like Broxer, LEC player, got to the World Finals on Fnatic. Finn basically played through the entirety of the World's group stages and finished first in the LEC. One of the first teams to do that other than G2 and Fnatic in the LEC. And the other side of things, you've got obviously POB, made it to the MSI finals on that Team Liquid lineup. And then the bottom half of the map is Wild Turtle, TSM legend who basically has made it to so many world finals, won the LCS countless times, and Smoothie partnered alongside him. It's a wombo combo of despair. And CLG, I feel, are going to win this matchup hands down compared to these untested rookies. Day 2 is kicked off with Evil Geniuses taking on Immortals in a clash that's going to be very intriguing. It'll be Immortals' first time hitting the Rift in 2021 as a team, and it's EG's second time, and I, for one, think this will be a very insanely good matchup. Immortals versus EG, while looking EG favoured, could go in favour of Immortals with the new pickups of like Xerxes to their roster. However, I still feel EG will win this matchup cleanly, and there will be nothing no special sort of thing to come out of that matchup. Our next matchup sees a returning two teams to the Rift, Golden Guardians and TSM, doing battle head-to-head here in a matchup I feel is an absolute stomp. I've gone with TSM here purely because Golden Guardians kind of look pretty bad for their pre-season team comp, but this is the time for them to prove themselves as an organization and see if they can challenge with one of the big boys of the LCS. We are now over halfway through our first set of predictions with our first Anarchy Analysis matchup of the week. Yes, these are back, ladies and gentlemen, and this one is an absolute banger. Cloud9 versus FlyQuest in a sort of rematch for the playoff games, where FlyQuest absolutely decimated C9, and then C9 got absolutely decimated by TSM. So this is one of them matches you cannot really predict. So I think that with the two rosters changing, and how they look so fresh and unique, I've gone with C9 because they've got the better of the changes in my opinion, and I'm gonna be intrigued to see if that's the actual result we see. Into our 9th matchup, and we see Immortals coming to the Rift for the second time in the day, up against Dignitas. And for me, this could be a very interesting close matchup. Two teams that do have a lot of strength, of which I feel Immortals has slightly more, as you've got two mechanically gifted. Our last matchup on the second day of the LCS lock-in is CLG versus 100 Thieves, and oh boy, I would say this would be a close matchup, as you've got basically the Golden Guardians of last summer versus the underdogs. I always call them the underdogs when I look at this team comp, and reason being is CLG are filled with players that weren't the biggest performers in their lineups last summer, and as such, when we look at them this year, I think there is a potential for them to do well. But for this matchup, I've gone and predicted 100 Thieves. I just feel that there's a lot of superior players in the lineup. And the one interesting matchup for me will be the top lane between Finn and Someday. Someday being probably the best top laner in the LCS for quite some time now. He's been very hard to dismount from that position. And Finn was a top laner that people thought could be very intriguing in the LEC back on Rogue. And he played the weak side very weak, granted, but I think coming into this year, he could show us some new side to how he plays, as the style between the LCS and LEC varies quite heavily, and I would honestly say we could have an absolute banger of a matchup. Well, into our last day of action, and we kick it off with Immortals taking on Cloud9, and to me, looking at this, I thought maybe, just maybe, I'd put the upset here of Immortals winning. However, I've got to stick to my guns, and my guns are firing on all cylinders here. Pow, 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 pow. C9 are winning this from my perspective. And honestly, C9 just have that sort of squad that can absolutely decimate opponents. So, yeah, that's why I'm going with them over Immortals here. Our second matchup on the day will be Team Liquid taking on 100 Thieves in a match that could go either way. You've got the Golden Guardians remake versus the Team Liquid shake-up. And to me, which could be an absolute banger of a matchup. Both lineups could bring an absolute barn burner to the LEC, and it's a matchup I have my eyes wide open on. And yeah, as we look at this tale of tape, I would honestly say Team Liquid are winning this one, and it's, looking at my score sheet, the only matchup on the left hand column I've got a tick on for day 3, and this one I feel is going to be explosive and close, and I expect something jazzy to go in that top lane for one of these two top laners. Woo! Up third is Dignitas versus EG. And oh boy, I'm going to keep this one nice, short and sweet. EG winning. Dig don't look strong enough against the EG squad. And yeah, pretty big stomp. TSM, CLG, the longest standing rivalry in NA. Only one team can win this rivalry, and we're gonna see it as our Anarchy Analysis matchup of the week number 2. Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely class, and one of which we're gonna be breaking down very, very heavily. Now, for me, this matchup was a close toss-up to decide who wins, but yet again, I've gone for the perfect TSM week. You know how they performed last summer, where it was one week they went 2-0, the next week they went 0-2. That's how they went. Well, I've gone 3-0 for their first week in the tournament. Maybe next week we'll see something different. Only time will tell, as TSM are my predicted winners for this matchup. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our last matchup is upon us. Golden Guardians versus Team Liquid. Now for me, this matchup could be explosive. It could go either way, I was gonna say, but I don't think it could go either way. I've got a feeling this one is all said and done right now. I'm going with Team Liquid. I've just got an urge to say that this should be a stomp. I honestly have 3 teams at the bottom of my predicted table that were immediately put at the bottom of my prediction. And you won't get to see them predictions until we're closer to the start of the LCS, because this is just the warm-up, baby. And what do you know? Our warm-up ends here in this episode, as our last prediction of Team Liquid comes through. My ass has to say goodbye to you. So if you've enjoyed this pod, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new around here if you want to, and I will see you guys next week, where we'll be going over the results for this week and also predicting the last couple of days of group play, and then the quarters and the semis will be put on my Twitter. Be sure to also follow me on Twitter, as I don't promote that enough, and also subscribe to the channel down below, and I'll see you guys next time.